interviewed a sophomore in high school who founded his own AI company,
I'm a high school in Georgia, and I go to Innovation Academy.
has a vast amount of AI knowledge in other industries,
So I don't think the patients would be exactly talking to an AI.
and who has strong opinions on the people who complain about AI.
So there's really no reason that you have an excuse to just be like, oh, AI took my job. You need to build something. And that's where, builders are being rewarded.
My name's Haroon Nota, and welcome to the Founder Series. All right, Armaan, how's it going, man?
I'm doing great, bro. How are you, Haroon?
Doing great, doing awesome, man. Look, what grade are you in right now?
I'm a sophomore in high school right now.
So you're a sophomore in high school and you're already an AI founder. You got to walk me through that. What's the Flexable AI? I saw that, but you got to tell me more about that.
Yeah, so the first thing is I'll give you a little bit of background. So I'm a high school in Georgia, and I go to Innovation Academy. And the stuff that, a lot of people don't know about me is that I've always been pretty big into coding, and I've always been really into building. Now, before Flexable AI, I made a little company called Glamera LLC, and that's where we just did some normal drop shipping, right? But after I learned about vibe coding, I learned about cloud code. There's a lot of stuff that I learned how to build. So describing Flexable AI, I'm just going to pitch it to you really quick. So every athlete knows that stretching prevents injuries, right? But almost none of them do it. Now, this isn't because they're lazy, but this is because nobody actually tells them what to do. You go open YouTube, you get 200 different videos, and then you close the app. After that, you go play, and then you get hurt, right? What Flexible AI does is that it fixes that in literally one tap. If you pick your sport, you can pick your goal, whether it's warm-up, recovery, flexibility, or injury prevention, then we'll give you a 5 to 10 minute routine that's built for that moment. So you don't have to scroll and you don't have to go pick through a library. For example, pickleball alone is 20 million players in the US, and it's growing 50% a year. The crazy thing is that pretty much every single one of them is getting hurt. We're starting at pickleball first targeting, and then we're going to move on to tennis, then pretty much every single sport with a tight, aging, and underserved athlete, which is essentially all of them.
That's crazy, bro. I think that's a key thing that a lot of AI companies or a lot of people are trying to find, convenience in their life and just trying to make their life easier, right? I mean, you said it yourself, preventing injury, but what specifically made you found this company? What makes you go into, because out of all the AI things I can think of off the top of my head, sports injury prevention was not one of them. So what made you go into that?
Yeah, so it is pretty niche. So I've been an athlete my whole life, and that's where that whole injury prevention comes in. And I've been getting into pickleball more recently. I've been playing in a few national tournaments. But I think that the biggest thing is that it's a lot worse than people realize when it comes to sports injuries, right? So I'll give you one example. One of my dad's friends, he plays pickleball pretty much every morning, and he tore his Achilles just reaching for a ball. Now he's out for 9 months, and that's crazy, bro, because now he has to go through surgery, rehab, the whole deal. And he didn't really do anything wrong because all he did was, he's playing pickleball and he picked up a ball. Now, what I believe is that stretching will prevent all of this. Stretching is literally a superpower. I do it for 5 to 10 minutes every day. I used to have leg pain, back pain. If you do a full body stretch for 10 minutes, your life will literally change. And then, like I said, it just combines two interesting things that I'm interested in. One's AI and one's learning about all new things and bettering people's lives in sports. It's a great way that I can bridge these two things. I think that's a way that I found that I truly love.
That's interesting, man. I mean, bro, first of all, pray for that guy's recovery, man. Tearing an Achilles, bro. I feel weird talking about hearing that right now. But you said before you were a part of this organization. What was that you were a part of, or that you are a part of?
Yeah. So, wait, sorry, could you repeat that?
There was this organization at the beginning you said you were a part of. So you founded those two companies, and then you were a part of something. Something society. What was that?
Yeah. So if you check my LinkedIn, it should say Glamera LLC, but that's basically my corporation. So like I said before, I had a little drop shipping site. So in the winter of Black Friday, we sold heated jackets, and that's where I got the capital to start all of my startup ventures. And then Glamera LLC is just the company that we work under, or the company that I work under. So it's my own company, but we have all of our different projects under it. So we have Flexable AI as one of them. We had our drop shipping store one of them. And then we have also our investing in others. So I'm part of an investing venture capital group called Modi Ventures as well, where, we put a lot of money into biotech. And that's all under Glamera LLC. And it's just something that just a little side project that I do as well.
That's interesting, bro. So you said you were into coding before you even before you made Flexable AI, and then you got into vibe coding, which is how you actually made that app. How was the transition from regular coding to vibe coding? How did that feel like?
Yeah, so when it comes to regular coding, I wasn't the best at it. I definitely could not have done this without the help of AI. But when it comes to regular coding, I would just do the normal stuff, for loops, just all like integers, strings. I wasn't
Like
that
the basic stuff, yeah.
exactly right. In middle school, that's all I learned, right? But then freshman year of high school was around when vibe coding started becoming popular. I was like, okay, I'm already half decent at coding. I'm good for my age. Let me try out vibe coding, and that was a whole different world because with vibe coding, you use AI to code. But what I use is I use AI to prompt the AI to code. So what I do is I just use AI for that. So I know it's kind of lazy because you're just using AI, but when it comes to
Yeah.
this, you can't use AI, but you can use AI to build stuff, and that's what I take advantage of. So it's been a pretty fun transition, though. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken to people also who have said like it's like a billion light years difference, right? Because you go from hard going everything. It's like going from writing to typing. Like you're like going from elementary school, they force you to write, and then like finally, boom, the letters they make themselves.
It's insane, bro.
So it's like, yeah, you use Claude. What
Yeah,
about like what LL? So Claude is your favorite LLM, I'm guessing.
yeah, for sure. So what I did is I actually used Lovable to make that first. So that's when I wasn't really too big on coding. So
Hmm.
I used Lovable to make the app, and it was all right. It was a good first design. But then after I heard about Claude Code, I migrated my project over there. Then I got a little bit better at coding as well. So I was able to migrate the whole project, and now it looks way better. So if you look at the App Store right now for Flexible AI, V1 is on there, and V1 is the Lovable version, so it's not as good. But we're currently working on V2 right now with Claude Code, and it's so much better. We have a whole onboarding flow. We have a lot more customization. We have a lot more data collection, which we can use to make the app a whole lot better. And that's going to be out in a couple months. So our school actually has a research in-house, research department, and it's a
Really?
whole research class. So the whole point of Flexible AI is to get research done. So when school comes back in season, and I'm done with all my exams, V2 will be on the App Store soon. So be looking out for that.
Yeah, I'll be sure to download it when it comes out. But a question on Flexible also, do I like let's say I have it on my phone, right? Do I like look at a camera and it tells me how to warm up, or does it prompt me how to warm up properly?
No, so it's super simple. So the first thing that you do when you open the screen for V1 is, you'll open it and then you'll put in all your stats. So, let's say, I play pickleball, basketball, and swimming, right? So then we have customized set routines. So the thing is we have one for pickleball, one for basketball, one for all these different sports. And it ranges from 5 to 25 minutes. So you'll click on your routine. Let's say you want to do 5 minutes of pickleball, right? Then you'll click on it and you can put in what you're feeling right now. So let's say you're feeling a little extra tightness in your hips and a little less tightness in your legs. So that means our routine will automatically adjust itself to give you a little bit more strength on a little more emphasis on hips and a little less on legs, or just whatever you want to pick. So then a way that it works is that it's basically a countdown timer with a circle. It starts off maybe 30 or 60 seconds depending on the exercise. And then we have a cartoon image. So let's say it's saying like a certain stretch like this, it'll just be a cartoon doing it. So it's it's very simplistic. It's very easy for someone, a new timer, to just look at the app and know what to do. And after you're done, you'll get a streak, which really gamifies the experience, which is what the users really like. And then you also get like a custom performance card, which you can share.
Interesting. And all this in your sophomore, when did you found this company?
Yeah, so I actually it hasn't been too long ago. I want to say a little bit like 6 months ago, and I've been working on it for a long time because the first 2 months were research, and then
Yeah.
I had to put all of that into coding. And I took a little break on it because it's May, it's AP exam season, so I have to lock in for my GPA. But summer and fall is definitely, especially with my school research class, I'm definitely going to start collecting data to do some research on, and then that's when the project's most likely going to be finished. And then yeah.
Is it hard balancing school and like a whole ass company? You told two companies at the same time?
I would be lying if I said it was easy, but I'm not gonna lie, it is pretty hard. So, that's why I kind of have to be on and off a bit. So
Yeah.
sometimes I'm balancing flexible, sometimes I'm, a little bit more locked in school. But I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty hard. So that's why, I'm just trying my best, keeping my head up, especially with like AP classes. But it's
Oh.
good that I took a break from it for a little. So, I got
Mhm.
some little more headspace and I can stay locked in for the rest.
Did you ever take a computer science class while you were in high school right now?
The crazy thing is no, because I'm actually in the healthcare pathway of my school. So all the computer science I learned was like entirely self-taught, YouTube, Twitter, all that. I'm
Mhm.
taking a computer science principles next year, but that's the first computer science class I'll be taking out of whole high
Really?
school.
I
Yeah.
took that last year because I'm a junior right now. I took that last year. I'll say this: it's worth it to find that introductory, understand the baseline of computers and that history. But I'll tell you, like, learning from experience is one of the best things you can do, honestly.
That's what I love doing. Yeah, it's literally my whole thing. But yeah, for
Hmm.
sure.
And in founding this company, right? You've done it for about, like you said, 6 months, right? Including the research and everything like that. How have you grown as a person? Because I mean, now you've passed like 2 academic stress periods
Yeah.
while dealing with this company and trying to scale it. How did you change as a person in that short time span, or did you?
Yeah, so I think that the biggest thing that how I've learned to change is that I've learned to just be like a more like focused person. Before I thought that, in 8th grade, middle school, I could kind of just lack off on my school and then just lock in on my side hustle. But now I've
Exactly.
dialed in for both of them. And now I literally like it's kind of hard to make that transition, but I'm glad I did because it taught me how to juggle more responsibilities. And I think in the real world that's going to help me a lot. And then I think another way that I've grown as a person is that Flexible AI is completely nonprofit. So we don't have like a subscription plan or anything. If you download it on the App Store, you can just get it up and running. And that's the whole thing. The whole point of me is for me to do research on it and get a research paper on it so that I can really help the lives of other people. I think that, if I try to involve money in it and include a subscription plan, it wouldn't be fair because athletes who are just trying to get the best stretches possible won't be able to afford that. And I think that that's helped me grow. Obviously, it was hard for me, saying, oh, I don't want to charge money for this. But I talked to my dad a little bit, and I think that we both decided that, keeping it a nonprofit and just keeping it that everyone has equal access to stretching worldwide is just the biggest thing that we can do. And that helped me grow as well. Gave me some more empathy.
Founded a whole company on a research project. That's absolutely nuts. And you said you're in the healthcare pathway of your school. What type of healthcare are you like trying to get into?
Yeah, so I think that my long-term plan is either biotechnology because I'm really invested into computer science and healthcare. But what I really want to do is if I fully went down into healthcare is because I'm pretty good at business, I'd say so, is that I'd graduate med school and I'd go to college and I'd do all this. And then I think the biggest thing I'd want to do is I'd want to open a dermatology practice. And the reason I wanted to open a dermatology practice is because I've always been a little bit self-conscious of my skin. And I went to the dermatologist, they'd offer me a little bit help. But what I want to do is I'd want to open a practice and then, teach the kids what's wrong with their skin, really give them an insight on, how they can make it better. And that not just applying like $500 products on your skin is going to help, but also, eating right, shaving properly, all these little tricks that, they're not going to learn from a doctor, but something like niche that they could actually use. So I just want to change like how people view skincare as a whole. And I think that I'd definitely be able to do that in the future.
So it's not like, so obviously Flexible, there's that passion of healthcare that's in there, but for you, it's on the long-term goal of helping people and getting into the medicinal side of things, right?
Exactly. Now, if flexible AI, goes well, maybe I can scale it as well, get a lot of users, maybe even, run some ads on it, maybe exit. That's like a very long-term plan though. And like I said, the whole point of me is to do research on this. And this is also a learning experience for me. I'm in my second year of high school, so I got a lot of time to grow this company. I got a lot of time to do other companies as well. So that's why, I'm not fully set like, oh, I'm going to do this, like this is ride or die because, there's a lot of opportunities I can be doing. Now, if I was a little bit older, maybe my answer would have been different. But since I have that time to be able to balance these things out, I don't think it's fully ride or die for flexible. So I'm not stressing too much about it. I'm dialed in on getting the product, exactly what it should be. But this isn't like my ride or die, like, oh, I'm dropping out of college to do this. No, this is just like a little side thing that I'm having fun with.
Do you see it still being around? Do you still see yourself being relevant to Flexible in around 2 years?
Yeah, in 2 years, definitely. Because what happens is that if I get a lot of users and the research project goes well, by marketing it through like UGC or, TikTok ads, I can definitely see it going a lot further. Because then at that point, that'd be my whole time thing. And I'd focus on school as well, but I'd be in senior year as well. So I wouldn't be taking the hardest of classes, which really gives me the time to dial in on that. And I think that the biggest thing is, just impacting as many people as possible, maybe selling it to a couple of, institutions or colleges and then maybe exiting the company. But I think that the biggest thing is just make the product as best as possible, and everything else will come to me.
So that's interesting. I haven't heard a perspective like that in a minute on like AI companies and it's like
Yeah,
stuff like that. That's interesting.
yeah.
So let me ask you this. You're in the tech field because you self-taught yourself computer science and you're in the healthcare pathway of your school. How do you think AI is going to affect healthcare? This is a question I've been wanting to ask for a long time to someone. How do you
Well,
think it's like interacting with each other? Because obviously there's the moral dilemma of I don't want ChatGPT
yeah,
diagnosing me with dementia when I'm 60, but obviously there's that process that AI can help speed things up. So how do
exactly.
you think specifically it can affect in healthcare?
Yeah, so this question has come up a lot in like all of our discussions because our school is a very STEM focused school, so they're very into the whole intersection between all these pathways, healthcare, IT, and engineering. But I think that the biggest way that it'll impact healthcare in the long run is that I don't know if it'll necessarily be on the patient side. So I don't think the patients would be exactly talking to an AI. Now there could be something where like they're getting a consultation from like an AI, but I don't think it'd be anything serious. I think that the biggest way that AI could help is that when you input a lot of information into AI, it starts to learn. So if you put a lot of pictures of like what a tumor looks like or what something like a cancerous or something that's harmful to the human body, the AI is going to learn, it's going to be able to check that out. It's going to be a lot more accurate than just giving someone like an actual human to look at that and go through the image, try to find a tumor. So AI can find that. So I think that that's one way it can definitely be beneficial. And then also when it comes to vaccines, it's going to speed up the process of testing, finding what can cure certain diseases. And I think that it's going to speed up the process a lot. Do I think it's going to cure cancer? Probably not, but it could. So we've only ChatGPT only came out a couple of years ago, and now we're just having everything, OpenClaw just running your whole computer. So you never know what AI could do in like the next 10, 15 years. But I think that this is one of the greatest technological revolutions in literally modern history. So I think that anything could happen and, anything could go down. But I'm here for it. I'm in the intersection of both. And whatever AI does, I'll use it to help me. And then I'll be good.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you that too. Like, how? So I think you're pretty positive on the future of AI because I meet people all the time who are like, "Yeah, bro, AI is gonna ruin the world," and it's like, dude, it's gonna be dystopian. You know that game, Cyberpunk 2077, where it's
Yeah.
like everyone is like owned by that like massive corp, or that
Hmm.
what's that movie? Ready Player One.
Yeah. Ready Player
You
One.
know
Yeah.
what I'm
Yes.
talking about?
I know what you're talking about. I don't know the exact name, but I know what you're talking about for sure.
Yeah, like these like massive corps or like all the AI is gonna own the people and such like that, or like iRobot or like what's it called, RoboCop or something like that. I don't know. I'll put it on the screen, but like it's one of the best movies. It's Will Smith was in it,
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
and so you're pretty. Yeah, right. So like, would you say you're more positive on the AI spectrum when it comes to you think it's going to be more like better for society than it will be negative for society? Because obviously, playing devil's advocate on my end, we've already seen a bunch of layoffs from Oracle. What
Exactly.
was it, Amazon, and even Apple. We
Meta,
started to
Apple.
see some. But what are your perspectives on it?
So I think that the biggest thing is that AI definitely is going to take a lot of jobs, and it will continue to take a lot of jobs. I think that a lot of jobs that people are going to college and working for are going to be taken out, and that's just the brutal truth of it. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that these people can also use AI to their advantage. So if they just sit back and be like, "Oh, AI took my job. I can't do anything about it," right? That's not going to happen because if you really think about it, I'm using AI right now. Haroon, I know for a fact you're using AI too. So there's really no reason that you have an excuse to just be like, oh, AI took my job. You need to build something. And that's where, builders are being rewarded. If you know how to build and you know how to market, then you can use AI to your advantage. You don't have to go and take the traditional route of, just getting a job after college. Obviously, you definitely should get a job, but if that job market's looking cooked, you're not cooked because you can literally just spin up an AI, make your own business, do what me and Haroon are doing right now. We're high schoolers doing all of this. Haroon, I'm also like super proud of you. You've done great. But
Thank you, brother.
yeah, we've done it. So if we can do it, you definitely can too, because there's really no reason that AI should be holding you back from doing whatever you want to do. So I think that the biggest thing is just use AI to your advantage. Don't mop about it when AI eventually does take over, because it probably will. Just use it to your advantage, and then you'll make some money. Live stress free.
Exactly. And it's funny that you say that actually, because I think we live in like in our parents' generation, right? So you're talking about from that era, right? So one generation, like, I mean, of course, wild generations ago, right? So our parents, their generation was more job focused and realistic focused. But I think we live in such a society because of AI where it's more achievable to achieve your dreams. I mean,
Exactly. Exactly.
like, which is, yeah, like, it's just so funny to me that, like, great, I can start a company, I can start an AI project, I can solve real issues. You're solving sports issues right now, bro. You're telling me that there's not a single old person out there who's like struggling with pickleball. You told me that person tore their ACL. If they had your tool, I bet they wouldn't have torn their ACL.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Yeah, and I think that it's crazy because like a lot of the times I feel like, oh, like these times were the glory days because you didn't have AI breathing down your neck about your job. But like you said, like if you use AI to your advantage, you're literally unstoppable. If you just take Claude Code, drink some Monster Energies. You know, you're up till 3 a.m. coding. Like you literally have the freedom to build whatever you want, and you're holding yourself back if you don't want to use it. Like I see a lot of people that are anti AI because it is bad for the environment. And while I totally agree that it is a little bit bad for the environment, I think that the harm that you're saying that it causes is not like relatively as much as it actually does cost. So I think that if you
Exactly.
stop becoming anti AI and you just start to build, start to learn, just put yourself out there, talk with Claude a bit. You can literally ask it anything you want, use it to study, make you like a review quiz, do anything that you want, even for school. You're going to be able to grow as well. So I think that all the anti AI people just really need to look inward and just be like, is this because of me or is it because of the AI?
Yeah. I mean, I'd say that's the motivation for even my company too, right? Like my basis is all about like those people who have the physical shops, they're going to last, but there's always going to be a thing for them to need it, right? Like how every single market's going to need it. No matter what you do, even if you do work a job right now, if you're in the plumbing industry and you're in management, bro, you're going to need some form of AI to manage those people.
Exactly. Even if you're like a doctor, like you need someone to like help out with patients. And while there might be a human that does that right now, if you can get an AI to do it with like 95% confidence, why would you not do that? So it's just like it's kind of like a play or get played game.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, it's just like those different thoughts, But all right, I got a couple of rapid fire questions for you.
Well, let's do it.
And something like that. So let's do it real quickly. All right, Claude or ChatGPT? I think we figured this out.
Claude for sure, bro.
Bro,
GPT 5.5 isn't bad, but Claude for sure.
yeah, 5.5 wasn't bad, but I feel like ChatGPT had a hard fall off, after Claude came out. Bro, Claude's gonna take AI. Claude is the only Anthropic's the only company I'm scared of. The only AI company I'm genuinely horrified of.
You hear about Mythos? Mythos is gonna be crazy.
You know about that too, bro? Oh my god.
It's gonna be insane.
Blocked from the public because of cybersecurity. I spoke to a cybersecurity specialist last interview, and like everyone is scared of what that AI can do, dude.
That's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be fun too. It's gonna be hella fun.
Oh, it would be hella fun. Do you like working from an office or do you like working from anywhere in the world?
Office. You gotta be locked in.
Locked in, I like it. Alarm, do you like to wake up to an alarm or do you like to wake up anytime?
Low cortisol. You just gotta wake up anytime. Your head's the alarm clock.
Bro, I got an AP exam tomorrow at like 12 p.m. You think I'm setting an alarm? Finally, bro. I can wake up. Chilling. Wake up, study AP. I wake up early normally, so it's like it's not a big deal.
Chilling.
Do you like to have downtime or do you just like to constantly grind?
I think that in the morning I have downtime, but nighttime I'll just study. I'll like work till like 4 or 5 a.m.
4 or 5 a.m., bro?
Not like every night, but like on like weeknights when I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah. You're like, bro, I got this project tomorrow.
Dial it in.
Dialed in. Do you like Monster, Celsius, or Red Bull?
Oh, Monster, bro. Celsius is too unhealthy. Red Bull is just overused. White Monster, because zero sugar, got a lot of caffeine.
All right, so I can tell you hit the gym.
Yeah,
I can tell, dog.
A little bit.
And the last and most important question, okay? This is what you got to be wired in for this one. Cereal before the milk, or milk before the cereal?
All right, when I was a kid, I did do milk before cereal, so it would be like a little. But now I learned because I saw the people clowning me. So I do cereal before milk. So it's pretty good. But no, that's my take. I had to dial in for that, bro. It's wired.
Yeah, you gotta be wired in for that stuff, bro.
One, bro.
Of course, man. But all right, bro. It was genuinely great talking to you. I think a lot of people learned a lot. I'm gonna put your app name right up here on the screen so everyone can go see it. I want you guys to go download it, check it out. Checked out his LinkedIn. He's a great guy. Talk to him about AI.
I could send you the link for it too if you want to just put it in the description or whatever.
I'll go ahead and I'll throw it in there. But all right, man. Take care. Have a good one, man. All right.
Thank you so much. Have a good one, man.
You too.